Well,
it's Fat Jesus coming at you.
Well, there goes our
Live
from Apple at any point. So it's the Halloween one. It's the Halloween special here with your host with the most, TJ Bowser, and of course, the man who designed your nightmares, Mick Strawn.
Or otherwise known as Fat Jesus.
Yes. So for the Halloween special, we will be breaking down each other's top 10 favorite horror movies and 3 honorable mentions. So we'll be going over each and just describing briefly why we like the film and why it's in our top 10. And then we're going to also
Whoa. I thought we were reviewing Sound of Music.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no, that's Dream Warrior Review.
That's the wrong show, Mick.
Oh, wrong show. Wait, I thought that was number 9 on my horror favorite horror film list, and it should be Fat Jesus.
And we will be hearing from other podcasters on the Project Louder Network with their top 10 as well. So let's start.
Steve.
Oh, hi, Steve. Steve, we'll hear from Steve a little bit later.
Okay.
Yes. So let's start with our first honorable mention. Mick, what is your first honorable mention? Do you have?
Oh, wait. I have to bring up my own list. God, you're such a dick. Hold on. Why don't you do your? Oh, I have to do my own list. I knew that this was going to be.
Okay. Let's address the elephant in the room. You picked The House and the Pines for your first honorable mention.
I did. You know what? You're going to have to say them, Beans, as I don't have them in front of me.
Okay,
I picked The House and the Pines. And you know why? Because it's going to be that fucking good.
That's a guarantee. That's the Mick Strawn guarantee.
So it's going to be at that or above. We don't know about the rest of it yet because I haven't directed it yet, but I'm gonna.
Fair enough. My honorable mention is 1987 Slumber Party Massacre 2. Film. I think the first film definitely set the tone, but the second one definitely turns it up to 11 with having like the rockabilly killer with the drill on the end of the guitar. And then that whole chase sequence in the construction zone at the end was just radical. And nothing makes sense about the movie. And I honestly think that that's why I love it. I mean, Slumber Party Massacre 2 from 1987. Fuck yeah.
I don't know why I didn't see it.
You're too busy making films in the 80s. Late 80s.
That's right. I'm catching up though, you know.
Yes,
I finally got to see Slumber was Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, Sleepaway Camp.
Which I turned around and called it Sixth Sense with a Dick.
That's pretty spot on.
Yeah, don't you think? I mean, doesn't get much better than that, right?
The whole movie's a lead up to the ultimate twist at the end, which is a dick.
Right.
You're right. Yeah.
Right. So you know, Sixth Sense with a Dick. It's 5 words. 5 words, a whole movie.
So your next honorable mention, I actually own and actually enjoy this movie. Features Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton, which is Brain Dead.
There you go.
So that's the film where they cut off each other's faces or swap brains.
Oh, no.
Or you're talking about Peter Jackson's Brain Dead.
I'm talking about Peter Jackson's Brain Dead.
Peter Jackson's Brain Dead is an also good one. So the gore fest that is the zombies and the lawnmower.
Oh yeah, come on. the lawnmower scene. That I actually know something about that film just from talking with Peter Jackson when I was down there in New Zealand.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I pointed out that they had to redo the floors because they originally made all the floors. They of course they had to have platforms everywhere, so they made a platform and they built the interior of the house on the platform, and they didn't have any money, so they used particle board and they just painted the floors. And because they used particle board, they used so much blood that it soaked through the particle board and people started to just drop through the floors.
Soggy floor.
that'd be kind of distressing, you know, to be in. I guess they did part of the sequence with the lawnmower and extras kept disappearing.
That's
so
awesome.
they had to redo the floor over the weekend and then start it again.
Oh. So my next pick is the reason why you didn't see my last pick, and that is 1988's Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Really?
Yes. And the reason I like that film is one of the best Elm Street sequels. I think that it is what I consider the MTV of the Nightmare sequel.
Yes.
It is completely a special effects driven film. And through my work with you and about every other person that worked on that film, I have grown to love it and have the utmost appreciation for that film. And that is my second honorable mention.
I want to say something about that film.
Okay.
In general, and this is just my opinion of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4 together, is Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is a much better film overall.
Yes.
Right? It really is. I mean, script wise.
Speaking of that is your next pick, by the way.
That is my next pick.
That is your next.
And I'm going to say that screenplay wise, just about everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a better film. It is a more serious film. It is more of a horror film. But it's not nearly as much fun as Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
And it's so fun. And I cannot tell you, I have such vivid pictures of me, dreams, honestly. Memories. That's right. That's what I'm looking for. Memories.
Yeah, memories. Yeah.
Vivid memories of the Kincaid in his bedroom scene and then the Alice in the movie theater. I will forever have those in there because to me, him getting sucked in the wall and her getting sucked in the fucking movie theater screen is just wild, and it'll always be wild to me.
Yeah, we sucked.
Yeah, real falls, by the way.
Yeah, real falls. Actual falls. It's really funny. Is we fucked with gravity quite a bit on that film.
Yes.
Yeah. It's such a weird film because, especially considering that Nightmare on Elm Street 4 was kind of a journey.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that was in it was a journey. You were always going from place to place. And what we did is we found so many interesting ways to get from place to place to place. The entire sequence of her going into the theater.
Was it shot linear?
Oh God, no. Oh
no.
God, no.
So you kind of just came up with ideas and then put them where they fit.
We actually did. Okay. I mean,
okay.
Because part of it is because we didn't have a script. A lot of what we were doing, and you can see where it would work. I mean, the idea, we were inside of the loop. We had already filmed part of the loop because the loop is involved in the cockroach sequence, and it's involved in a lot of other things. We were already involved in the loop when we filmed it before we got the end of the loop. And, before the truck hit nothing. Yeah. As far as filming wise, that was we actually got out of the loop like 3 weeks after we were filming the loop.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Because we didn't even have an idea how we were going to kill it.
So I will talk about my last honorable mention, which is 1984's Toxic Avenger from Troma Films and Lloyd Kaufman. That film introduced me to sleaze and B movie greatness, and I've been hooked on Troma Films ever since. So that is why it is an honorable mention. But of course, it's no cinematic masterpiece, which is why it's not in the top 10.
But it's really an interesting film. I at the time, I remember that at the time we were I can't even remember what I was filming. I was filming something across town, and we heard about this really, really sleazy film and how they were filming and how cheap they were and stuff. And it was like, it was one of those things where you're going, you mean there's somebody out there that's working that's cheaper than we are? That kind of thing.
You're working on Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, that's right. I was. I probably was. I was going, man, there's somebody. I honestly have to tell you, I remember I had a set dresser on Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo, and I had just gone on, as construction coordinator, but had really gotten roped into a lot of other parts of it as things went on. I remember going down the road at like 90 miles an hour in her little Rabbit, just like, going down right-hand lanes and, then zipping over and getting on the safety lane in the freeway. And she was absolutely nuts. And she was going, I can't believe that I got on this $3 million film. So went down the road. I was like, really? This is a big film? I didn't know.
So before we get on to our top 10 picks, I am going to play 2 messages from people over at Project Louder. First is Scuba Steve from the podcast Somewhat Supernatural. I will turn that up here and hit play.
Hey guys, what's up? Scuba Steve here with my top 10 favorite horror movies. Poltergeist 2, love that one. Maximum Overdrive, Return of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th, Part 4, Halloween, Part 1, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Event Horizon, because I don't care what you say, that's a horror movie, Slither, Feast, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and a couple of honorable mentions here, Life Force, which was one of my all-time favorite movies back in the day when I was a kid, Critters, and Full Cheese Zombie. Love that movie, but not enough to put it in my top 10. So, see you guys later.
That's a good solid top 10.
It was.
I liked it.
So the next is Cameron Lee from the Big Bad Beetle Bros podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey guys, Cam here with the Big Bad Beetle Bros coming at you with my top 10 Halloween horror movies. So we'll start from the bottom of the list. And this is, it's still my top 10, so they're all important. Starting from the bottom with Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
First monster movies I remember watching with my dad,
Great
so
one.
I put it on the list. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, another classic. I've got the poster hanging in my room. It's got to go on the list. Eight-Legged Freaks. I've got the VHS tape. I've been playing it since I was a kid. It's a weird giant spider movie. If you guys are into kaiju and weird like B movies with some A-list actors, it's awesome. Wolfman, the 2010 remake of Wolfman. I actually really enjoy that movie. I have 2 different copies of it on DVD, and I watch it multiple times a year and probably 2 or 3 times every October. I love it. And right up with that, number 6, Dracula Untold. It's another remake that people weren't super fond of. It was definitely supposed to launch a dark universe type thing for Universal again, kind of like The Mummy. It's, in my opinion, much better than The Mummy and could have done a better job of launching that universe. But just like The Mummy, it didn't work. Number 5, Sleepy Hollow. I love the Headless Horseman story, and I think that's probably the best iteration of it. Number 4, Lost Boys. It's a classic. It's before my time, but I grew up watching it with my brother-in-law and my siblings, and I can't get enough of it. I even like the 2 sequels. I think they're all good. Number 3, Invisible Man, the original Invisible Man. Yes. I haven't seen the new one yet. Yes. I'm sure it's good, but it doesn't feel Orwellian enough. I don't know. It doesn't hit that mark. I've got probably 4 copies now of the book, and I don't know. I just love that story, and I love the visuals of the original movie. I think it was kind of a landmark, groundbreaking film. Yes. Number 2, the original Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. I just saw it in an outdoor theater with a double feature with American Werewolf in London a couple weeks ago, and I can't get enough of that movie. And Lon Chaney Jr.'s representation of the Wolfman, it's a classic, and it set the bar for werewolf cinema. Number 1, my top spot is Monster Squad. If you guys haven't seen Monster Squad, it is absolutely killer. It's the Goonies meet Universal Monsters. It's got Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, a mummy. It's killer. It's a great monster romp. And it's super fun. It's good enough to be a spooky horror movie around Halloween, but also still fun enough for like the whole family to enjoy. And then my 3 honorable mentions. These aren't in any particular order, but the Omega Man. It came out in like 71, and it's a retelling of I Am Legend, the story that most people probably know from the I Am Legend movie but
Good
I love
pick.
it, and I enjoy the Omega Man more than I do the modern Will Smith take on it.
Is that Vincent Price?
Much better.
Dark Soldiers, another great werewolf flick. It's got a little bit of a different spin on it. I've just always gotten a kick out of it. It's a fun, a little bit more actiony horror werewolf movie. And 30 Days of Night.
Yes.
I put 30 Days of Night and Dog Soldier. Those are kind of like in that same category of 30 Days of Night is to vampires what Dog Soldiers is to werewolves, in my opinion anyway. I know they're not on par production-wise and stuff, but that's my top 10 and my 3 honorable mentions for my Beetle Bro horror movie recommendations. So hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a happy Halloween and stay safe out there.
Okay.
That was a rocking list.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. I'm just making sure everybody else sent their stuff in. Okay. So let's move on to your top 10 pick. And that is Friday the 13th from 1980.
Yeah, I love the first one.
Without that film, you couldn't have made yours.
Well, yeah, no, that's very true. And the first one is just a scrappy little film, you know?
It is.
And it ain't nothing but truth. It's it kills people, it kills them dead. And it's got that spooky feeling that to me says Friday the 13th, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
I loved it.
I
also love I love the, you know, you had so many opportunities for misdirection. You had the creepy driver of the truck. You had the creepy owner of the store. You had so many creepy people that you got to before you actually got to the killer, you know?
It was the true Americanization of that film we watched last year, Deep Red.
Yes, absolutely.
My top 10 pick is 1993's Return of the Living Dead 3 from director Brian Usna.
Right.
That film I remember watching as a child and being absolutely terrified. It has some incredible gore effects. The setting inside the weird like shipping container army base is just absolutely awesome. It has the hottest zombie girl in history and pierced zombie nipples, and you don't get that in any other film. So the number 10 pick is Return of the Living Dead 3. So Mick, your number 9 one is Dave Made a Maze.
Dave Made a Maze, and I know that this is you're going to find that I have a sense of humor.
Yes.
You know, if you know me, you might find that I do have a sense of humor. And yeah, okay. Anyway, the thing is Dave Made a Maze has a sense of humor. If you've never seen somebody bleed yarn before, if you've never seen a Muppet get killed, then you need to see Dave Made a Maze.
Yes. Also, Scary Minotaurs.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So my number 9.
Hey, wait. Attack Origami.
Yes. Head on over to projectlouder.net and see our interview with the director and production designer of Dave Made a Maze.
One of our funnest interviews by all means. Yes.
My number 9 pick is 1987 Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2. And I think that you might find that that's on my list. I just saw that the other day.
That's actually your number 8.
That's my number 8. You know, it's right here. And so we're just almost in the same place with the same film.
Now, anybody who knows me, that's one of the films that I collect props from. That film was one of the last films I watched with my grandmother before she passed. And it honestly just has a special place in my heart. It fuses some intense gore, some intense horror with some insane comedy. And it is this perfect balance.
There's a movement to it that the first one doesn't have. It's
a freight train of fun.
It is. It's just there's I know this is going to sound really weird, but I always have in my mind that room, that one living room when absolutely everything is rocking. Mm-hmm. Everything is alive in this room.
The fucking fear.
And the way that everything moves is in the deer is just so out there. I mean, they actually did it isn't like everything's moving. It's like everything's moving with this particular snap. And I just love it. I just absolutely, I plan on doing several homages
Yes.
to that film in my film.
So my number 8 pick is 1985's Demons from Lamberto Bava. Mick, have you ever seen this?
Have not seen Demons.
So
I've seen a lot of bits and pieces of it.
That film was introduced to me when we were doing it on Gore and More 2 years ago. Actually,
Right.
now that's crazy to say that. And I fell in love with the movie. It has a heavy metal score. It's badass. It's gore left and right. It's pretty much a group of people trapped inside of a movie theater with a group of demons that slowly infect everyone. The movie ends with Air Raid playing, and a fucking helicopter crashes down through the fucking top of the movie theater, and a dude's riding a dirt bike through the fucking movie theater with a Japanese samurai sword, cutting off people's fucking heads, and it's just nuts. So 1985's Demons is my number 8 pick for all the fucking right reasons, baby.
I had to see that. Nothing like a guy, chopping off everybody's,
on a dirt bike
heads on a dirt bike because
in a movie theater
because
while a helicopter crashing through the ceiling.
What are helicopters for, right?
So your number 7 pick just says Dracula.
Yes. And this is the original Dracula, or this is not the original Dracula.
No, because the original is on your list.
Is on my list also.
Yes.
But the original Dracula, I mean, and the thing is there are some great ways to determine what you like about that film, because they made a version of it, a Spanish version of it, at night at the same time.
That's right, because of the cardboard scene.
That's right.
Oh.
They were shooting at night, and I have seen both movies, and I have to say that the
Spanish version's better. I hear.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
It's possibly better directed, but it doesn't have it doesn't have Bela Lugosi, and Bela Lugosi is, to all intents and purposes, is Dracula.
I agree.
I mean, the Spanish guy just didn't have the same charm. How do you want to say? I don't know what it was Bela Lugosi had, but it made
he had it. Damn it!
That's right, it. And the funny thing about it is he hardly even spoke English at the time. So it is very cool.
I haven't seen that film in years. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
You ought to see it, because it is a lot better than it's a lot better than you think. The really odd thing though is if you watch the Spanish version, there is an entire sequence that's shortened in the American version. And by the way, the Spanish version is like a half an hour longer than the American version.
Oh boy.
Oh man, it just goes on and on and on and on. I tell you, it gets pretty damn long. But in the beginning, they do this the version of all the creatures that came with him that are getting out of their coffins, right? The spider getting out of his coffin is so far over the top. It's just like, really, we really went that far to actually watch the spider get completely out of the coffin. And they made the coffin close as he got out and everything, and he walks away, and it's tarantula, and you're like, man, that it's like a good 20-25 seconds of screen time. And you're like, wow, that is indulgent.
So my number 7 pick is Friday the 13th, Part 6 from 1986 from director Tom McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. So
we've had on the show twice now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this is not Adams. Adams was later on, right? Adams was 9, right. So this isn't the one that stole the hidden.
No, that's not even on my list. I love that film, and it holds a special place in my heart. But there's films out there.
Yeah, I've seen 6, but I can't remember it that much. You know,
I think 6 is just great because, for one, the Alice Cooper connection, his music that plays throughout the whole way. I mean, the crazy Frankenstein rebirth scene when Tommy gets all pissed off and stabs the fence post through his chest and gets hit with lightning, bringing Jason back, thus causing the rest of the movies to happen. The RV scene, that's such iconic. I mean, Jason with a utility belt. Fuck yeah. The movie's great. So, your number 6 pick. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which we've already talked about.
There you go. I mean, enough said.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Witchboard.
I didn't pick what?
Witchboard, the movie you can't remember making.
Which what? Which what?
Love it. Okay, so moving on to my number 6 pick, which would be 1994's The Crow from director Alex Proyas. Now, that is based on my favorite graphic novel, The Crow by James O'Barr. That movie, even though riddled with filming complications, including the death of the lead actor, Brandon Lee, God rest his soul, I think the film is fantastic. And it is a film that has stuck with me since I first seen it as a little lad. And I'd have to say that, fuck yeah, The Crow, man, and all of its sequels. Love it.
Have not had a chance to see it. I'll get to it eventually someday.
Yes, very good film. So, your number 5. Actually, before we go to number 5, let's play 2 more.
Let's do that.
Yeah. So, first up, we have Brandon Stoudenheimer, which is a young man that you help coach over at Box Office Banter. So here we go.
What's up, everybody? It's Brandon from Box Office Banner, and I'm here, of course, to give you my top 10 horror movies with 3 honorable mentions. I gotta say, it might not be a perfect list because I kind of threw this together at a family reunion. I thought I was going to have this in the next few days. I'm pushing for time here, but I'm pretty sure this is at least close to accurate. Number 1, we're going to start at the honorable mentions. Let's go. Let's build that anticipation. Number 13 for me would be Midsommar, a new movie. I really just fell in love with it, and everything Ari Aster's done so far has been perfection to me. Number 12, the classic Halloween. How can you leave it off a list? Number 11, Alien. Now, a lot of people love Aliens more. I like the scariness of Alien more than the sequel.
Absolutely.
The actual official top 10 and breaking out of them honorable mentions, we have another Carpenter classic, The Thing, at number 10. Then at number 9, we have the very underrated The Faculty. I have a lot of nostalgia for this movie, and I think it helps boost it into the top 10, if I'm being honest. Number 8, we have The People Under the Stairs. Very, very underrated, wacky Carpenter flick that gets everything. It milks everything it can get out of that premise. Number 7, we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, a classic. You can't leave it off. I mean, the gritty feel, despite if you think it's a true story or not, which I'm here to tell you it isn't, it feels like a true story when you're watching it. 6, we have The Shining. I mean, come on, dude. Jack Nicholson, the performance. Yeah. Jesus.
I saw the close-up of it.
Into the top 5 here, people. We have The Devil's Rejects. And my God, dude, this movie, I used to be the biggest Rob Zombie defender on the planet. I can't really defend him anymore, if I'm being honest. But The Devil's Rejects is a big reason for that. Absolutely love that movie and the characters of Otis, Baby, and, of course, Captain Spaulding. R.I.P. to Sid Haig. Number 4, we got a remake here. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Still the most chilling theater experience I've ever had. I love it. Number 3, we kind of have a slant movie. It's kind of a crime thriller as well. 7, I got to throw it in there because I adore the movie so much, but it's definitely got creepy, scary, atmospheric vibes in it. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, kill it, man. And number 2, we got the sci-fi horror going with Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude. Predator. And number 1, the holiest of holies, Jaws. Still won't go in the water because of that one. Hope this was beneficial and good for you guys. I can't wait to hear everybody else's. Love y'all and have a good episode of Rabbit Hole. Peace.
He had a very adventure kind of leaning to his list.
Yes. So I think next is our friend Brandon Lane from Rants from the Black Lodge.
Ooh, here we go.
So let's see. Oh my, now I remember. He sent his in a special way. Are you ready?
Yeah. Do you have to wear gloves?
Hey everyone, this is Brandon from the Rants from the Black Lodge podcast, using a surrogate robot voice to list off my top 10 favorite horror films for our good buddies at RabbitHole. Oh,
Wow.
I'm assuming you're wondering why I sound like this.
Yes.
The truth is I am a very important man with several adult responsibilities that are presently preventing me from recording proper audio. If you find my synthetic dictum unpleasing to your ears, you have my sincerest apologies. Just kidding, you can kiss a dog's teddy for all I care. Teddy for all I care. Freddy for all I care. Damn autocorrect. You can kiss a dog's titty for all I care. What we talking about again? Oh yeah, my top 10. Damn, I'm running out of time. How about just my top 3? Coming in at number 3 we have the 1980 slasher tour de force known as Friday the 13th. Gotta love monoloid children with mommy issues. Coming in at number 2 we have the Stephen King penned and Brian De Palma directed Carrie. I mean, who doesn't love crazy religious people with psychic powers? And last but certainly not least, my all-time favorite film is Ghostbusters. Now I know what you're thinking. Ghostbusters isn't a horror film, but fuck
Sure.
it. It's my
Right.
list, and Sigourney Weaver gives me the chub, so there you have it. For the Rants from the Black Lodge podcast, this is the synthetic robot voice of Brandon A. Lane signing off.
I always knew that guy was a fucking robot. I tell you, Jesus, what a mess. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks a lot.
That's great. So, Mick, your number 5 pick.
Yes.
Okay. I got to bring yours back up here. See, this is a lot more fun than you thought it was going to be.
This is. This is a lot more fun.
So, your number 5 pick is Nosferatu.
Oh, now that's a solid one. That's
Now, if somebody held a gun to your head and said, Mick, how do you spell that? You would not survive.
Nosferato.
I thought it was you.
You.
I don't fucking know. But
I don't
we
know.
referenced earlier the very first Dracula film, Nosferatu. Why is it so great, Mick?
Yes, it's. I got to tell you, there's a secret to this. Is you get the 1990 soundtrack, okay, which is electronic, and then you and it's a silent film, and what you do is you listen to it at twice the speed, right?
Okay.
And you just watch it, and it's so atmospheric. The thing is I don't think that we've gotten anywhere near as atmospheric as this particular German expressionism that this film. I mean, you know, other than Frankenstein, and some of the black and white ones out of the Universal, you know, it part of the advantage is doing it in black and white. Has a but not only black and white, but the black and white film with the with that particular glow to it.
Yes.
That the early films had because they were taken off of nitrate. It's just something about it that's just super creepy. And there's always there's also another film that you ought to check out. I think it's called the Carriage.
Okay.
And it's about a carriage that the driver of the carriage takes the dead down to hell, and it is the coolest black and white film, black and white no sound film ever. And I would put those two.
Marriage from 1921.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It is so cool. And I would put that together with Nosferatu as being a couple of the most atmospheric, atmospherically interesting and horrifying films. They just can't be beat. And both of them absolutely are better if you speed them up.
Okay, so my number 5 pick is Nightbreed from 1990, director Clive Barker. What can I say? I love the books. It's based after the Cabal book, and I've seen both directors and the Cabal cut of this film. I've actually never seen the theatrical cut, so I don't know what all the bitching's about. This is one of my favorite films. Boone and Decker are some of the most memorable characters from the 80s. Decker's a fucking sadistic serial killer, and he is dead.
Who is it?
Simple. He's played by David Cronenberg.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Then
Boone's awesome. Midian is fucking sweet. All the special effects are gnarly, and Clive Barker is just one of those all-time greats when it comes to writing spooky shit. So, yes. Mick, your number 4 pick is What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows. Come on.
I've never seen that movie.
You're not going to fight me on this one. This is amazing. This is an amazing film. I mean, it's funny as hell. I mean, but it's also really creepy, and the effects are really good, and they're very practical based. And it's about a couple. It's about a group of roommates in modern day New Zealand.
Taika Waititi, you love his work.
I love his work. Right. It's about a couple of roommates, and it's getting along as a latter day a vampire. And it's a group of vampires, and there's they have of course a rivalry with the local werewolves, and
as one does,
and they've got groupies, and they've got wannabe vampires, and hilarity ensues.
Yeah,
but the greatest thing is what he does is, especially in every time he's opening a door, you gotta be like ready to be completely creeped out, because some of the times when he opens the door, you just go, whoa, what was that? And you'll understand as soon as you see the film.
So going from your vampires, let's go to my number 4 pick with vampires, The Lost Boys from 1987. Joel Schumacher's classic. Santa Carla took me to a place and made me want to be a vampire, made vampires cool as shit. And I just love it. Join us, Michael.
Yeah, it is true. It was a great film. I think it's overexposed a little bit. It seems to be shorthand for a particular expression of vampirism, and especially the idea of the brood. One thing that they did really well in that was the idea of a brood of vampires.
Yes.
And I would say that there was one that I think goes with the brood concept and might do it a little bit better. It's called Near Dark, but that's a discussion for another time, and that is a discussion that has had a lot. And that is a 1987's Near Dark featuring Bill Paxton. He plays a gnarly fucking vampire. That is coming up on an upcoming episode of the Gore and More podcast within the next 2 months. So, then have me on, okay? Because I'm a Near Dark. I am a Near Dark advocate for sure. Awesome. So, my number 4 pick is we just talked about your number 3 pick. Yeah. So your number 3 pick is the original Invisible Man. The original Invisible Man, and I might say that has come up before on somebody else's list. It has. Cameron's. I have to go for it for its brooding and still with an incredible sense of humor. The idea of the Invisible Man when he is obviously skipping down the road, and they somehow pull it off in the way that he in what he's saying, and the music with it, and how they do the footsteps as he's skipping down the road is got to be one of the most hilarious things that I've seen out of the 30s period, 30s, 40s original films. It's got humor, it's got drama, but I might add that the director is the same director who did Frankenstein. and he brings in a lot of the elements of Frankenstein. And I might say that he got his beginning as a production designer, and it's very easy to see.
I was so wrong about the Omega Man. It wasn't Vincent Price. Wasn't he in a movie?
Who was it?
Richard Matheson.
What?
Richard Matheson.
Who was the guy?
Richard Matheson was the guy in Omega Man. I don't know what he goes by. Yeah.
Omega Man. I thought it was
I Am Legend. It was based after the book.
What year was it?
1971.
Huh.
Oh, that's screenplay. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm not reading it.
Yeah, no, it was the cleft chin.
Charles Heston.
Charles Heston, right.
Why did I keep thinking it was Vincent Price?
God, I was thinking to myself, man, that's a different film than I saw.
Yeah. I need to read this stuff.
That is a really great film.
It is.
And you know, I have to say that I was never a fan of Charles Heston's at all. And yet in that film, he completely convinced me. He really did.
It's a good film. End of Days. So my number 3 pick is 1980s Maniac from William Lustig featuring Joe Spinell. And this film is haunting. It's terrifying. And Joe Spinell is a fucking literal maniac. There is such. Have you ever seen it?
I have not seen it. Where was it made?
New York.
Oh, so it's from another country.
No, this is William Lustig, Tom Savini on special effects.
Oh, New York. It's another country.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So this movie's intense. That's all I can really say is it's absolutely intense. The gore, the brutality of the kills, the storyline, and then for it to end, Tom Savini had a dream early on in his career where he would dream that his creations would come to life and kill him. The movie ends with the killer's creations coming to life and killing him, and that was way of Tom Savini's getting over that nightmare. So the ending of that movie is so fucking crazy because it's like a nightmare, and it's just awesome. It's
like a nightmare.
It's like a nightmare. Go figure. So, moving on to number 2 picks. Mick, your second pick is Young Frankenstein from Mel Brooks.
Yeah, there's a ringer for you. Here's the weird thing about Young Frankenstein. Mel Brooks took a whole bunch of the pieces out of maybe the first 3 or 4 versions of Frankenstein and put them together almost word for word,
and then roll them in the hay.
Yeah, and definitely visually the same, right?
Yes,
absolutely the same. In fact, a lot of the same devices. And he made it a comedy, and it is absolutely hilarious.
Yes. The dancing number at the end. The small jokes, like whenever she's going up the steps and Igor's just staring at her ass the whole time.
Right. The almost dead, near dead. I ain't got nobody. Yeah, it's like the funny thing. You know that thing when Igor goes walk like me, and then he bends over and stoops and uses this little tiny walking stick to walk with, and then hands it to Frankenstein. What's his name? I can't think of it. Gene Wilder, and your walk like me, right? And the funny thing is that scene of the guy walking with the little tiny cane is actually in one of the Frankensteins. This guy walks across the scene, and he's got this little tiny ridiculous cane, and it's because he's bent over and crippled, and so he's got this. Oh man, I got to tell you, there's so many things that are just stolen right out of the original movies. It's hilarious.
So my number 2 pick is 1978's Dawn of the Dead, the George A. Romero classic. It is everything about that movie. Now, people bitch and complain that it's a slow burn, that it's not, it's the zombies move too fast, and that's only because they remade it. You have something to compare it to. This movie set the tone for any zombie movie after it. I mean, Night of the Living Dead introduced you to George Romero's flavor. This perfected it. This movie is fantastic, not only because it doesn't have geographic closeness to me, but this film made me love the zombie genre as a whole. And it holds up today, and I can't wait for that sweet, sweet, sweet 4K release so I can enjoy this film the way it was meant to.
Which one was in the mall?
That's this one.
That's this one. Oh, that's just terrific. It was just such a good update of the original.
And I love the sliding down the escalator scene. Love it. So fun. So before we give our number 1 picks for our top horror movies, we will listen to our final 2 call-ins. And this one is from a familiar, very, very familiar guy. Goes by the name of Graham Leneve Painter.
Oh, God, that guy?
That guy again.
Again?
Oh, is it Rants from the Black Lodge? I just got to find where he sent this. Nubbins, that's his name. Graham's top 10. Here we go.
Hello, Mick and TJ. Happy Halloween. It's Graham here. I'm just going to reel off my list for you. I'm guessing a lot of these top 10s are going to feature similar titles, so I've tried to include a couple of interesting choices amongst the usual suspects. So here we go. Top 10. Number 10, Hellraiser, the British classic about a gooey skeleton in a slut's attic. Number 9, The Exorcist 3. Some say as good as the first, even with death scenes and masturbation. Number 8, House. Not the medical drama, but the 1986 haunted house flick starring everyone's great hero, William Catt.
I worked on it.
Number 7, Halloween. Yes, Michael Myers. Like Santa and DJ Qualls, he only comes out once a year. Number 6, another British classic, An American Werewolf in London. A movie most people can empathize with concerning a cursed being who turns into a crazy monster for a week every single month.
Trying to remember that one.
Number 5, Peter Jackson's greatest movie. No, not the films with the greasy ring. It's 1996's The Frighteners. Number 4, The Evil Dead. The first and most believable, because who hasn't wanted to kill their girlfriend after a couple of days in close proximity? Number 3, Creepshow. Perfect Halloween viewing that proves the best horror movies can still be made with a cast of senior citizens and be better than the usual teenager-filled fright flicks. Number 2, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because who doesn't need another reason to be scared of Texas? And number 1, Ghoulies. Yes, not me, because I knew what I was going to say. If you're interested in learning more about Ghoulies, the new podcast, Ghoulies Unflushed, is available to download right now. Oh, honorable mentions. I haven't written anything down. I don't know. How many do we need? 3. Motel Hell, Ravenous, and what else do I like? 1974's Vampires. There's tits. So to sum up, Ghoulies is great. I'm a twat. Happy Halloween.
You got even with it, said son of a bitch.
Shameless plug. So last,
shameless as you can get right there.
But certainly not least, the boys from Comics and Kaijus wanted their voice heard. So here's Cameron Miller from Comics and Kaijus.
Hello, my name is Cameron Miller, and here's the list for my top 10 favorite horror films. Number 1 is John Carpenter's The Thing. Number 2, Alien from 1979. Number 3, Halloween from 1978. Number 4, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Number 5, Fright Night. Number 6, Scream. Number 7, Gojira. Number 8, Dracula from 1931.
Yes.
Number 9, Bride of Frankenstein.
Yes.
Number 10, Frankenstein from 1931. Some honorable mentions include King Kong from 1933, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and Return of the Living Dead.
I like that.
So I want to personally thank every single one of the podcasts and podcasters that called in to help contribute to this very special episode. So without further ado, Mick, what's your number 1 pick? It is The Ring.
Oh, it is The Ring. There we go. I know. You know what? I have this this feeling that I've been telling people how to construct their monsters for most of my career, right?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, somebody did it exactly the way that I said needed to be done. And that creature of the girl coming out of the well was the best reveal ever. To me, it almost rates up there as far as being utterly terrifying with the jaw of the alien coming out of the dark. But what it did, I kept telling people, I said, you have to not see the monster as much as possible. You have to have something so ethereal out of the monster that you get over the fact that it's a rubber suit or actually just a human. And the movement, and you have to remember, here's the thing. Almost everybody since The Ring, at least half of the films have duplicated the movement of that.
Have you watched the Japanese films that those derived from, the Ringu series?
I have. Not nearly as good as the American version.
I think that we just got a really cool Ringu box set from Japan that includes all the films and the prequel.
Have you seen them?
I haven't. I just heard that I did see reviews of them, and I heard they're fantastic to watch if you get the box set.
They are very good overall. But
if you're into J-horror, and that's a whole nother flavor.
Right, but I have seen the Japanese version of the same film, and I have to say it is this close to being a frame by frame duplicate of a film I have ever seen in my life. But still, the Americans did it better in this particular case. The optical effect of being fast and slow at the same time, and then crawling out of the well, and then crawling out of the TV, and the movement has been copied by so many people since. I just can't even tell you.
That's the standard demon movement now.
It is now, but it wasn't then. That's the thing that everybody did. Everybody laughs at me when I say that. When I say, yeah, you know where every standard demon movement
like that prior to 2006. So
right, they all came from that film.
So, my number 1 pick.
Let's go.
1987's Hellraiser. Graham mentioned it up higher on his list. Now, a little backstory. It is a film that I avoided for most of my life watching because for some reason I thought it was super scary, super duper scary. So I finally watched it and I fell in love with the film. And it's one of those films where, like Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I got the chance and the opportunity to meet everybody. To talk to people about it. And it was just made me have this intense appreciation for it. And owning the Hellbound Heart, talking to Clive Barker, talking to all the Cenobites. That film, one of my favorite, if not my favorite horror film of all time.
Well, I almost have to get to. I have a feeling that to appreciate that film, because I've seen it, and all I have to say is, I used to own a house that had one of those rooms, and it was just a problem room. I mean, I think I had a demon in it, just same as that one. But just because you have a really, really bad room in your house doesn't mean you just couldn't send somebody in and have it repainted or something. I'm just saying, there is a certain aspect to me that I would say, you know what, honey, we either need to lock off that room upstairs or we need to move.
Yes, fair enough. Quit playing with the fucking box. That helps too.
That's just it. I mean, it's like here's what I'm saying is all their problems came from one room in the house. You know, right? It's like well,
What
you know,
going
I
upstairs?
keep telling you, just stay out of that fucking room. God damn it. And we wouldn't have this problem. Where did you get that box? You got that box in the room, didn't you? You stupid bitch. Yeah. Listen, all I'm saying is if I walked into a room and I saw that any one of those people, I would go, oh, God damn, I got to start spraying for these guys. I mean, what are these guys, contractors or something? Jesus.
Repellent coming soon to Project
Right.
Ladder.
That's right. There's a powder for that, isn't there? You can just spray it around a little bit and, then close the room for about a month. The smell will go away eventually.
Okay, so that concludes our top 10 and honorable mentions for the Halloween special of 2020, the quarantine special. Call it if you will.
This has been so much more fun than I thought it would be.
Yes, same here, man. This is definitely something we'll have to do next year for the Halloween special.
We're gonna. This is gonna have to happen again.
Yes, for sure.
Ugh.
So until next week, when we talk to Dario Russo from Italian Spider-Man, this is your host with the most, TJ.